the dynamic of boxing.
Without those events,
37
years,
companies were drying
in
up.
the game, Showtime
Like Vegas
boxing
was
no more.
and
That's why Floyd was allowed not to go to jail. Right?
When he fought the fight on the 16th,
Because
the last
their
fight.
town was near
Showtime,
bankrupt.
boxing career.
Hey, let's start with that.
Hmm?
Let's start with that. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So with the end of Showtime boxing coming, as HBO got out just about 3, 4 years ago, more corporates are buying into Showtime, and Showtime got bought out. And PBC is now looking for a home. Amazon Prime is in negotiations, then talks with a lot of companies to see where they're going to take their fights. This is why you didn't see the rematch between Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. They were going to fight on December the 9th in Las Vegas. Now that fight is gone to Keith Thurman, as he's doing a pay-per-view fight in Las Vegas on December the 9th against nobody.
With who?
It's nobody, just a regular guy. Just some guy they just found and threw him in the ring. Just so because they had the date, so they're not gonna give them Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence too. And y'all just kicking us out the door. I ain't gonna give you that fight. So you ain't gonna get the rematch. You're gonna get Keith Thurman and whoever he's finna fight.
Wow.
So yeah, so that's who they replaced the card with. That's gonna be in Vegas on December the 9th. So that's the last real big pay-per-view. Then they got one fight on the 16th, and that'll be the end of Showtime boxing. But the reason they're getting out is because they were they got to pay like $150 million a year to license boxing, and they're like, why are we spending this money? We don't have Mayweather anymore. We don't have any of these fighters that's generating money. But Al Heyman's plan had basically backfired for the past 2-3 years because of the pandemic. That set everybody back. He put all these showcase fights on pay-per-view and made everybody pay to see these fights that you will see on regular Showtime. It's like, why is this fight on pay-per-view? And you're wondering, like, what's this fight here would be on a regular night on Saturday? Why is this on pay-per-view? And he was doing it like every month. It was like a pay-per-view, and it was ruining the market for real fights that was coming out.
The big name.
Yeah, and he was putting showcase fights on pay-per-view. He had both Charlos one night fighting on the pay-per-view. It was like, who's paying $50 to see this? They fighting 2 no-names, like 2 warm-up fights. So it's like, this is like a regular night on Showtime. What are you doing with this? And they was like, well, you know, when I understand during the pandemic's over now. People are going to the fights. Why is it on pay-per-view? So that's how he was guaranteeing the fighters to get their money. Because he was saying, look, you guys gonna get a piece. It's gonna be on pay-per-view. So if the people wanna see it, they gonna buy it. So that's how y'all getting y'all guarantees, y'all getting all of this. It's all coming from this back end on these pay-per-view fights. We put that on, we'll make the money back to pay them. It ain't gonna come out of Showtime's pocket. They ain't gotta spend all the money. So they start putting together the showcase fights. But when you dealing with a sport that is basically fan generated, it got hurt by the pandemic because no fans could be there. That's vendors, you know, all of that. That's where they make their money from. So you need an audience for boxing. You just can't watch it from home. You need people there. That's where all the money is generated. So without those events, a lot of companies were drying up. Like Vegas was, that's why Floyd was allowed not to go to jail right away when he fought Cotto, because they town was near bankrupt. The whole town of Las Vegas is near bankrupt. So they stopped Floyd going to jail. They said, oh, well, you supposed to go that time. We'll let you do your fight, then you go to jail. I was like, how in the hell? I'm like, dude, I'm not fighting for your town again if you're going to do that. That's why they let him back out. Because when he fights, he generates billions. Billions.
Yeah,
People fly in, they gamble, they spend big money, celebrities coming into town, so they want to be there. And the mix, hotel rooms booked. So the whole town is generating revenue when he shows up. The casinos, everybody, when he fights. It's an event. So with all of now that that's gone, it's not any real big events anymore. That's why PBC just signed this deal with Canelo, because they needed to bring somebody in that could give them an event. So they got all this talent, but this manufactured talent. They spent all this money paying the Charlo brothers and promoting them because they're twins. But you haven't developed them correctly at all. And they basically are entertainers on social media, but they're not. They don't have a notable fight in the ring, and that's where Jamal is like, man. Every time you build momentum up, they knock themselves back down 3-4 pieces, and they got basic talent, but they can be beaten easily by a boxer. Like Tony Harrison had no problem really with Charlo. If he wasn't so chinny, that's it. That's the only thing that stopped him, because he easily can beat Charlo. And you saw he controlled him with a jab all night long. He was controlling. Because they fight like almost like amateur style, like somebody who's first time in the ring, everything hard, right. So Tony, we seen this. He in the Crunk. He come out of the Crunk gym. So they see that first day in the gym. Those guys come right in, right away, hard, throwing that. He's like, oh yeah, this is easy to beat. This is telegraph every punch. They don't know how to look you off. No tricks. They don't know any tricks. They just know athleticism. And unfortunately,
big punch.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Al has done this to the game. He's taken former basketball players, former football players, and he has a gym that he basically tried to teach people to fast track them into the boxing ring. And you had these people now, a lot of them are just gone. They were former football players that blew their knee out. Now he gave them an opportunity, and I'm always happy for somebody getting an opportunity to make some money to feed their family, right? At something, but as you just can't fast track boxing, and next thing you know, they're in a world title fight with Deontay Wilder. I'm like, come on, man, this dude just he was playing football 3 years ago. What is he doing in the ring?
No more learning the game.
Right, it's no more
fast track boxing, rushing
Exactly.
people to title fights, and that's getting people hurt, and it's taking the notoriety out of the game and the fundamentals out of the game, because the old school coaches is being forgotten, and that's what's messing the game up now. There's no more old school coaches. We came up with old school coaches, old mans in the gym, telling the stories, teaching us boxing, telling the way they did it,
Yeah.
and that stuff kept us going. And we don't have that no more. Everyone learning pad work. If someone watch a video of Floyd Mayweather or Roger Mayweather doing pad work, and watch them 50,000 times, they can learn to do it the same way, but they can't learn to teach the fighter an alternate route to do something. They're not teaching them the true definition of boxing. They teach them pad work, and pad work is not boxing. You have to learn the game. You got to learn the art, the fundamentals of the sport. And that's what's losing in the game right now. And that's what PBC has took from boxing, that fast track. And boxing's not a fast track sport. It's a learning sport. That's why boxers become trainers. If you never box, you can't train.
That's right.
If you never play basketball, you can't teach. You can't teach it. If you only speak Spanish, how could you teach Russian? From a book? No, you can't teach Russian language from a book. You gotta know the language to teach it. So that's what messes up a lot of sports these days, is a fast track of greatness, and that's what's messing the sports up. And that's why PPC was in the position they're in now.
Yeah.
With no fighters.
Yeah, the game has been saturated. It's just like a lot of sports. You got a lot of strength and conditioning trainers being boxing trainers, and they just like, I was a strength and conditioning coach, and I'm a boxing trainer. And I'm like, I love Leonard Ellerbe, but I'm like, Leonard Ellerbe can't teach boxing. He's a strength and conditioning coach. He been in he been in Floyd corner for a lot, but I'm like, he's a strength and conditioning guy. If I want to know about exercise to get myself in shape, something like that, I can talk to L. But I'm like, you can't teach me techniques. So it's not. I'm just using him as an example. We love L, but just for an example, they have to have a lot of strength and conditioning coaches. You got former police officers now that's like, I used to be a cop, I'm retired now, so now I'm gonna be a boxing trainer, because they were in the PAL. So they just get motivated from the boxing league. Like, I got a couple of kids, and that's good, but it's like, who taught you? Did you ever box? You was a boxing enthusiast. And the same thing happened with basketball. Now AAU is destroyed. It used to be someone who knew basketball, who played. Now you just pay the money and you're basketball, you take a test, And next thing you know, you pay your money and you can coach it. Hey, you can coach it tomorrow if you want. You just go down there and pay the money and get a license.
Sign up.
Now you're an AAU basketball coach. You have no experience. You don't know anything about playing. Right. You just out there telling people, hey, cut here, cut there. And you just got to get the kids. That's it. Moving from A to B. That's it.
And show them how to get in the zone.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And that's what's messing up sports now. Everybody is turning to, no disrespect, to a Charleston White. Everybody. And that is messing.
And I can't stand him, so yeah, we right on point.
And to me, he's, I ain't got no person against the man, but
he's a clown.
He capable in himself. And I wouldn't even start an argument with him because there's no reason to.
Right, exactly.
So I said completely away from him. He said he never had a problem with me saying nothing about him, and I hope he'll never say nothing about me. I'm gonna sign his way and stay in my lane. I know only my lane. I don't know his lane, and that's something I'm not trying to learn myself. I know the sport of boxing, and that's what I mastered in. I got a master's degree in boxing. I don't have one and nothing else, so I can't talk about nothing else like I talk about boxing, because boxing is my life. And this is what I've been doing my whole life. I never had a job. This is my job and my only job. And I'm gonna do this till the day I die.
Like, some people don't know how to breathe in a ring. People don't even understand that these are techniques you would have to be taught by people who've been in the ring and have experience. You have to, people don't even know like there's a such thing. Yeah, you have to learn how to breathe in a ring. It conserves energy.
Thank you.
So a lot of people don't understand that that's part of the boxing training, the process. You can't short step this. This is why you don't want to ever be in a fight and be in a situation you can't understand or never been taught. And I've seen fighters where they fight a certain way and they get stuck. They only resort back to the same thing no matter if they taught something. It never stuck. They have no plan B. Like, I love Roy Jones, but Roy was taught by his dad. It was unconventional. He was mostly athleticism. And when his reflexes and speed slowed down,
Good nature.
he couldn't fall back on fundamentals. So your career is not going to be that's why the fights were going the way so badly for Roy towards the end, because he had no fundamentals, really. His fundamentals were shot. He still was trying to do what he used to do, but he's slowed now. So now you're going to get caught with these shots. But if he stuck to his basics and fundamentals, this is why Bernard was able to have a longer career, because he came up fundamentally sound, taught by these older guys in the gym.
And that's why James Toney the same way.
Yeah.
That's why Mayweather the same way. They're fundamentally sound. And Roy had good athleticism. He was very fast, and that's what made him a freak of nature. Mm-hmm. But when that slowed down, he had no fundamentals to go to. And if you don't have fundamentals, no matter what sport you do, you have to be fundamentally sound. Look at Kobe Bryant, the Michael Jordan, they're fundamentally sound. Look at Kevin Garnett, fundamentally sound. If you're not fundamentally sound, you can't master your craft. You gotta be fundamental to be a master. You have to be fundamentally sound. And if you're not fundamentally sound, you can't master it.
Nope.
It starts with fundamentals.
And it takes the work. They all put the work in, the work that they ain't required to do. They don't show up when the time say, hey, we need you here at this time. They doing it on their own when they go home. Mm-hmm. Spending hours working, perfecting what in the world they do. Because when that lights come on, they want to be able to perform.
Yes, and perform at a great level.
Yes.
And that's why when people say, what it takes to be Mayweather, you gotta believe like him. You believe like him. Yeah. You do get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go run 10 miles for no reason. If you don't do those things, you got to watch them in those night times. When you get up in the middle of the night and go for a 10-mile run. When you get up in the middle of the night at 2 in the morning and go work out. You have to do those same things. You can watch him in the car. You may drive the same car like him, but you don't train like him. And that's the difference. You don't train like Mayweather. Mayweather put the work in, and Mayweather believed. And that's what made him so much better than everyone else. He knew he was the baddest motherfucker on earth.
Discipline.
And
that's what people didn't notice, because a lot of people I know, they didn't really know about Floyd till he fought De La Hoya. So he really got on board like, oh man, I ain't never really know this Floyd guy until he was fighting down De La Hoya and all this. So they didn't really know him. So they see the flash, the money Mayweather, he got the suit, he throwing the money. So they don't think he trains the way he does. They don't see the dedication. They don't see the discipline. They see him like oh man, I'm like, dude, that's a show. They're like, he putting on a show. I'm like, but when he time to work,
he don't play.
He don't
play
around.
no corners.
No,
he don't play no game. And a lot of fighters cut corners. When you cut corners, you're not gonna make it.
Yeah.
When I made the decision in my life to not cut corners anymore, when I put them 2 words in my mouth and said I can't make no more excuses, no more cutting corners, I made the Olympic team. I didn't cut no more corners. When I cut no more corners, I became great.
Yep.
And at that moment in 1996, I felt like I was the baddest 201 in the world. Could no one tell me nothing different. When I cut no more corners, I made no more excuses. And you got to know that. You got to teach a fighter how to, when the times are rough, first of all, you got to learn to fight. When I talk to Kev, I can't talk to Floyd Mayweather the same way. They got different pitches. I find what pitch works for you. I might say, hey man, what's wrong with you? Raise my voice. But with this fight, if I raise my voice, it shells them up. So I might say, champ, check this out. Then it wasn't right. A different language. Some people you spray butter on, some people you spray vinegar on. Everybody's different. And once you learn that, you can learn how to train fighters. Everyone is not the same. Can't talk to someone. I can't raise my voice to my mom. I can probably raise my voice to my friend, but I can't raise my voice to my mom. Certain things you can and can't do in this sport. You got to teach a fighter when they're in the most dangerous position, they got to be the most relaxed. You got to work on their relaxation. That's why when I have fighters getting them on, comfortable with sparring, I put them in the ring first with people that can't hurt them. I got to get them relaxed. Once they get relaxed, they can start learning the game. Because you cannot, when you're in the most dangerous position, you got to be the most relaxed. When you're dealing with someone with real good power and you're on the inside, you can't be nervous and unsure. You have to be relaxed in this. I don't care how hard he hit. You got to learn those things. I got to teach him those things. I got to look in his eyes and tell him that. And they can slowly, one day, sink in. I tell him every day, but I got to tell him all the time, hey man, relax. Don't let his power scare you. Don't let him intimidate you. You can't shut up to speed or power. You got to meet at the front door. I tell people this all the time. Speed and power, you got to confront it at the front door. You can't meet it in the alley.
Right.
Meet it at the front door.
And this is why I tell Box and how he knew his advantages and disadvantages. He's like, oh, look, I'm not going to get a bunch of knockouts, but I'm going to hit the angles. I know he ain't slicker than me. I know he can't box me.
He don't believe, like,
Right.
you know, work as hard.
Exactly. So he knew I could just keep him off balance and rhythm with my feints and keep him at a distance where he can't throw his shots. He knew how to beat these guys mentally by playing chess with them. And then working, fundamentally, scoring his points, slipping them, ducking, and knowing when they, because most guys telegraph when they're going to throw their big shots. And especially when they power punches, they depend on the power.
It shows in their eyes.
Yeah.
I know when I was fighting people in Floyd Mayweather the same way, you can see it in someone's eye. I know I don't show when I'm finna throw power at you. Floyd don't show it neither. You can't, James Harden don't show it.
Yep.
You can't show when you try to change up on someone. I have to hug you the same way and stab you at the same time. You know what I'm saying? If I hug you, one moment I'm gonna hug you, then I'm gonna stab you. You wouldn't even know I was just finna hug you. Then I put a knife in your back. You can't show your emotion in boxing. It's a emotionless game. And you gotta change a lot, you gotta change your mind almost every second in boxing. That's why you gotta stay light. Everything is light. All your movement is light. Can't be heavy movement, heavy feet. When you're heavy feet, you're forcing it. And you never know when you're being tricked or set up. So at all times, your body has to stay light. You gotta teach fighters that. And show them that relaxation is the key in this sport. If you're not relaxed, you won't be as hard to do this sport. You gotta have relaxation in this game of boxing.
And that's what happened with Mickey Beck. Floyd Sr., they had a good game plan, and he was like what I would call a front runner. Mickey Beck get off front, like to be first. That's good to a certain degree. Zab Judah was like that. They front runners, they get off ahead. But their flaws is they cannot fight going backwards. And if you see their fights and you know their styles, they always come forward. They always good going frontwards. But I saw in the amateurs, and this is why Zab was ended up an alternate in the 96 team.
Lost to
he
David.
couldn't fight going back.
And David stayed on his ass. David Diaz.
Yeah, David
Stayed
Diaz
on his
from
ass.
Chicago, slower than him, everything. Zab was strong, slower, or
When he had
yeah.
that more will.
Yep.
And when David fought Zab Jr. in amateurs, Zab won the first round big. You would
Yep.
think David was gonna get destroyed. The next round, David would win the next round by a little bit. It'd be hard to judge. But the last round, David won the last round by 10 points or more. He dominated. His conditions played a key factor. Zab was never in the shape that David Diaz was, so he went on the Olympic team. Zab was a better all-around fighter than David Diaz, but he wasn't tough as he didn't believe like David Diaz. He didn't put the work in like David. That's why he went on the Olympic team in 1996. And David was. And David ran when he got up at 3 in the morning and ran 5 and 10 miles and did things that had to drop him for dime that Zab probably wouldn't do, and that was the difference. And that's why Zab was a great fighter and was ended up being a better pro than he was amateur. I do believe.
Oh, yeah.
He had a better career than David Diaz, but around that time, Zab knew how to lock down and get that moment where he became the Olympian in 1996. He was an alternate. That was one of my best friends. Both of them are my friends to this day. I love them both, and we're friends to this day. We're gonna stay friends to the day we die.
Mm-hmm. And it just shows Mickey Bay he was winning the whole fight and lost in the last round because he walked into a shot. Walked into it. He was relaxed. He ain't thinking the fight's over. And he's pressing like, okay, I'm gonna try to show off I got the fight won. It's the last round. This guy don't really have nothing. He walked into a shot. Got himself knocked out. And his career, that was his first loss. He been perfect. And Mayweather said he had a good game plan. Didn't have his hands up, nothing. He got too relaxed in the ring, and that one mistake altered his entire career. He was never the same fighter. He had the doubt started coming in his head. Anytime he got hit with a shot, he was worried. And those things and those tests, these are tests in the ring. It's gonna test like, okay, this is gonna test you. Are you gonna be able to push past this? If not, it's gonna drown you in this game. You ain't gonna get past that bar. You can't defeat this one thing right here because the battle was in you. This is not the opponent. If you can't beat this and defeat that and mentally get over it, it's gonna dominate you for the rest of your life. And you see him now, he's blaming everybody for his career. He blamed, well, Mayweather ruined me and they signed me. They messed up. I should have stayed here in this town. If I'd have stayed in this town, I'm like, man, that's messed up. I'm like, because now your whole career is over. Now you trying to go back saying what you coulda, woulda, shoulda did. I shoulda. If everybody could do that. Everybody like, man, I shouldn't have took that fight. I should have took this fight.
I should have went to this school.
Yeah, if I'd have went to that school, I would have never did that. I would have never went there. They slowed my career up. They look for any excuse. But to face the real problem that they had in the ring is that doubt. They couldn't eliminate that doubt. Mickey Bailey had doubt creep in his mind, and he couldn't get past it. And I've seen that happen with a lot of fighters that were very talented and had all the skill sets. Once they get tested or they get that first defeat, they can't really get back to that place they was. They couldn't shake it off. It mentally crushed them. Like Fernando Vargas, another person on the 96 team, never was like, man, I was fearless getting in the ring. He's like, I've never had any fear going into any fight in my life except for the first fight after I fought, my comeback fight. That walk to the ring, that was the scariest thing in my life. He said I was the most scared I've ever been in my life. And he's like, and I was like coming to the ring, he's like, I couldn't even believe it. He's like, and I got dropped in the second round by that guy. He's like, I ended up stopping him, but I got dropped in the second round. He's like, I couldn't believe it. Yeah, and I was like, I was scared. He's like, I was literally scared to death walking down to the ring, getting in the ring.
You know what? That walking down that tunnel, getting ready for your professional fight, you're walking down that tunnel. In those moments, it was like when your music playing, you walk into the ring. That's the moment you reflect your life. And in those moments, I would just say to God, I'm finna go fight hard. Just protect me and take care of my family if I don't come out this motherfucker the right way. Just take care of my family. I'm gonna fight hard. Please protect me and and take care of my family, things gonna go right. And once I said that prayer to God, I went out and fought hard. Cause I knew God heard my words, and I'm saying it from my heart. I meant it. And walking out that tunnel, man, it's very hard to. You got a lot going on at night. When you're walking out that tunnel, you've been training for months for this one person. You see him in the ring, and you walking toward to get in the ring, and you've been training, sparring partners. You've been ready for this guy. You finally see him. You finally get in the ring. Your doubt may kick in here and there. You know what I'm saying? But you got to push it out. You got to push it away. And fuck that. I'm listening to God. I ain't worried about that. What if he knocked you out? You have all those on. You wake up in the middle of the night, dream you got knocked out. You wake up in the middle of the night, it's 3 in the morning. You fight that Saturday. It's Saturday morning, 3 in the morning. You waking up and hitting your head and drunk, you got knocked out. Have those dreams, Lana. And then you got to deal with your manager. You got to deal with the do's and the don'ts of the sports, the shadiness of the sport, the shadiness of the game, the shadiness of the managers and the promoters, and then you know what I'm saying, all that stuff. It's crazy, man. Boxing is a tough sport within itself to deal with, because most of my friends in boxing, we don't talk the same. I don't talk the way I used to talk in 1996. I've been hitting my head over 1 million times. 1 million times. The average guy get hit his head over 50. And I've been hitting my head 1 million. 1,000,010. So my vocals don't come out as quick as they normally used to. I'm slow with my speaking. And that's part of the game. Floyd Mayweather the same way. He don't sound the way he used to sound in 96. And Antonio Tarver sounds good, but not the way he used to sound in 96. None of it. Fernando Vargas. And sometimes it breaks my heart to talk to him on the phone. Like when I talk to James Sonny, it breaks my heart. I love him. He's one of my best friends, one of my best sparring partners I've ever had. I used to kick his ass. But, and I'll go in there saying, I used to kick James Sonny ass. And I want to fight him. I'm Casino Ray. I would love to fight him in the exhibition. I don't have the name he have. I'm not, but I think people will buy it. I think we try, and I will kick his ass. James Sonny fighting Nate Jones. You've been in the ring with me. I was one of some of your best sparring ever. Get in the ring, let's have some fun. I either want to fight Evander Holyfield. He's up in age. He's like 60. I'm 50. So it'll be a good fight. I'll fight him. Roy Jones, James Sonny. Them 3 guys.
What about Mike?
Mike Tyson. I'll fight Mike. That'll be tough. I'll fight Mike. It'll be tough, but I'll fight him. Hey, Mike a good name. I'll take the chance. I'll fight Mike. That'll be tough, but I'll fight him. Casino just put on. I'll fight Mike. If Mike won, I'll do it.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah. But I want James Sonny. James Sonny, let's fight. Evander Holyfield, let's fight. Roy Jones, my friend, let's fight. Let's do exhibition. Let's have fun. Let's make some money. We all make money. We all shake hands after that and hug each other.
Go to dinner and everything.
And go to dinner, all that. And be friends. Roy Jones is one of my closest friends. James Sonny is one of my closest friends. Me and Holyfield, we cool. We're not the closest friends. I don't have his number, but I got these other guys' number. I know them. I would love to box James Sonny, Roy Jones, or Donnell Doc Nicholson. And he just do Mike Tyson. I'll do Mike Tyson. I'll do one with Mike. If Mike want to take on the
You
challenge.
and Doc, man.
Me and Doc, I love to fight Doc. Me and Doc cool, we ain't enemies, but I would love to fight him. We can go at it, we can have fun for safety. We can do it safely, and we can go in it like dogs.
Man, the choice two always, him and Doc used to argue all the time about who's the strongest hitter. Who's the hardest hitter.
Doc was one of my rivals, but we're older now. We both 50 plus, so we're best of friends. I have nothing against them. I wish you best of life. But let's fight. One of these guys, let's do it. Roy Jones, James Sonny, Mike Tyson, Donnell Doc Nicholson. Let's get it. Let's have some fun. Let's make some money.
Absolutely. Now, I don't know if you saw the fights, like the Canelo Charlo fight. Did you see that?
Of course.
Okay, the Canelo Charlo fight. Did you think he should fight? Charlo should have went up all the way to 68.
No.
Oh, Canelo.
No.
So you think, because he said he's gonna go back down to 54. Do you think that's a mistake? After you go all the way up to 68 to go back to 54.
Well,
because he said he fighting Terrence Crawford next at 54. That's the.
He won't meet Terrence Crawford.
No, I already know that, but
He won't meet Terrence Crawford.
he wants to go back to 54 and campaign. I think that's the mistake. I think he should just go to 60. If he from going to 68 and going back to 54,
It's gonna be hard.
it's gonna be hard. It's gonna and
And
then,
Roy did that and it fucked Roy up.
yeah,
When he went up to heavyweight, then fought John Reeves, and he came back down. And,
yeah, because he cut a lot of muscle doing that.
And you're right, that can affect him. But I think, yeah, it do make sense to go down to go up to 60, go down to 60 and see how that fit in with him. Because there was the reason you went up to 68, if you couldn't make the weight no more, for whatever reason you did it, go down to 60 now and see what you do at 60. And I don't think you should fight Crawford. I don't think that's a fight that you should want. You should win the belt at 60 and learn that weight class and dominate it and at least try to dominate it. You know what I'm saying? So you can do it at 60. Because 68 was too much for him, but to go up and down like that is a track record. Everyone that did it had declined their career. Roy did it, he didn't look good. A lot of people that did it didn't look good. And he may be next.
Right. And this is why a lot of people that go from light heavyweight all the way up to to heavyweight, they're not normally successful. That's only 2 people that really ever do that and win like the heavyweight championship. Roy was one of them, and once he went back down to that weight class, it was actually some incidents that happened. He was supposed to stay at heavyweight.
I'm in the gym.
So that altered everything that he wanted to do professionally from his career. He was never supposed to fight Tarver. You know, they tried to get the fight before he went all the way to heavyweight. And he was gonna fight another fighter that Tarver ended up beating, but he's like, I was gonna fight Tarver before, but Tarver lost. He's like, Tarver lost to the guy from Philly. I can't think of his name. I think it was Hardy.
Hardy.
Yeah, Hardy. Yeah, so Tarver lost to Hart, and Roy was gonna fight him. He was like, I was gonna fight you and not him, and you lost. So once you lost to Harden, then he ended up going up to heavyweight. He got the fight with John Ruiz for the title. They came with the money, but he was supposed to stay at heavyweight. He had 2 fights. He had Mike Tyson and Holyfield as the next 2 big fights he was gonna do. Tyson didn't want to sell his cars. He was going through financial problems at the time. And Shelly Finkel got involved and was handling Mike's finances, told Mike to file for bankruptcy. They say, Mike, you don't have to file for that one. You could file for this one. This way it'll cost you your cars, but you get to keep the $34 million. He's like, I don't want to lose my cars. He's like, Mike, you could buy more cars. You get $30, $40 million. You can buy some more modern cars. I don't want to lose my car. So he stayed with Shelly Finkel, and that was a mistake. So they went to Holyfield. Holyfield agreed to the money, everything. He was going to fight Roy. Fight was done. The only thing, Don King had to sign off on it. So they went by Don to get the approval, because they know Don King had to go through approving the fight and everything. He said, yeah, I'll definitely approve the fight. No problem. He's like, Murad Muhammad, we did business before with Razor Ruddock and Tyson. He's like, yeah, Murad Muhammad, my guy. So he's like, yeah, we'll get this fight done. But he's like, Holyfield got this crazy lawsuit against me. He's like, tell him to drop the lawsuit, and I'll approve his fight. Ain't no problem. He go to Holyfield. They said, Holyfield, you make $30, $40 million to fight Roy, and Don is going to prove it. It's all done. He was like, all you got to do is drop the lawsuit against Don. He was, no, I don't want to drop my lawsuit. He hurt my feelings. He's like, man, you finna let you get $30, $40 million.
That should make you feel better.
Right. He wouldn't drop the lawsuit, and then he told him, he's like, let me work on Holyfield for the weekend. I'll talk some sense into him. He's like, he told Don King guy, he's like, don't tell Don what Holyfield said. And he's like, just let me work with him, and then we'll go from there. Give me the weekend. He's like, what this guy do? He go right back to Don King and tell him Holyfield said he gonna hold on to the lawsuit. Man, by the time he came back, Don went on. Man, I'll never prove him to fight now. Yeah, let's see that. Yeah, tell him to keep the lawsuit. Let's go to court now. He ain't gonna get a dime. And I ain't approving no fight now. It was dead in the water. Yeah, it's dead in the water. So.
We had some other rules about things. few last point in the game. Absolutely.
Yeah, so the fight was dead in the water. So that's when Roy had to make the decision to come back to light heavyweight. And he had to cut a lot of muscle to do that. To go from, because he was walking around and he was 203, 204. And to go back down to make 175 was a tear on his body, condition-wise, man. He couldn't do it. And you got to try to build that muscle back up after draining your body down 20, 30 pounds. It's real heavy. So now, if you want to talk about the fights that went on, like this past weekend, like let's say